Hello class, Mr. Greeno here, showing you the solution for assignment 12.1.5 free response 2B in codehs. Um, I don't think I assigned this one, but a couple students actually went ahead and did it, and I'm kind of proud because I thought this was a little tricky, and I was a little unsure if I was going to assign it or not. So for those who hadn't done it yet, uh, you can see on the screen there's the solution. However, what I really wanted to show is how to use the scratchpad, because on the previous assignment, students seem to be having a little trouble with the scratchpad, and I know we haven't done that all year, so I wanted to show you. And the reason I'm going over it is over the next month as we prepare for the AP exam, most of the review stuff that codehs provides is going to be done this way, if not all. So I want to make sure you're all pretty good at using the scratchpad, because it's not just to help you figure out the solution, but it's also a way to call your methods and do your printing. And if you need to do that on the exam, I want you to be well versed in it and comfortable in it. Something you don't even have to think about, it just happens. Okay, so here's the solution. When I click check unit test, you'll see it checks it and it's good. Now over here, what they're showing you is this is the name of the method, count pattern, and this is what it's receiving. So somewhere inside their system, they're sending this method this information. And if you don't remember in this assignment, what it's doing is you have the DNA code C, T, G, and A. We're going to have a method called count pattern that will take in DNA sequence, DNA of any length, as well as a pattern called pattern, and return an integer counting the number of times that the pattern appears in DNA string. So for example, if you have this AC, AC, TG, AC, GT, and you count how many times AC is there, you'll see it's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so they want you to return the number 3. So that's what this thing does right here. It counts how many times the pattern is inside of the entire string. Okay, so to go back to what I wanted to show you, and now my check, did it disappear? Oh no, here it is. So now the first thing you should do is copy this entire method. So highlight everything. Of course, you could do Control A for copy, Control A to select all, Control C to copy, go to the scratchpad, and where it says copy and paste your unit test method here, click at the end, hit enter, and click Control V to paste. Now this is properly indented, but the rest isn't. So what you can do is highlight everything for the method from the beginning curly brace to the ending curly brace, and then just hit tab, and everything goes in one tab rather than doing each line separately. Most IDE interfaces will do that. codehs does it. If you're using your own IDE at home, like Eclipse, which is probably the most popular, that does it too. Okay, so now we have our unit test here. But up here, we're not calling anything. We're not asking it to run anything. So we need to do that. The best way to do it is to realize that this right here calls that method. So if you want, and it doesn't look like you can copy, but yeah, you can click, hold down, and drag across there. Control C to copy. And over here, Control V to paste. Now that calls the method, but it only calls the method. It doesn't print anything. So if I just do the scratchpad now, it should run, but it doesn't print anything. So I mean, I don't know. What's the answer? I mean, there's no error, but there's also nothing printed as an answer. So what you really should do is wrap this inside of a print statement. Actually, this isn't the best way to do it, but this is a way to do it. I'll show you the best way in a second. So we got system.out.println. Wrap it means put a parenthesis here, go to the end, put in another parenthesis. So now what we're saying is print out whatever comes back from this method when we send it those two things. So now I should get back the number 4. Just like in the unit test, if you click here, it came back with the number 4. So when I run the scratchpad, I get back the number 4. But if this is a real program, somebody runs it and you get back the number, it prints the number 4. What does that mean? You don't really know. So there's a better way. So let's comment this out. and do it the better way. So the better way, let's set up some variables. So string, we'll call it S1, is equal to, now really the best way would be to ask the user for input, but let's not get too fancy. We'll just hard code it, which means we're going to give it two test cases that are there and they don't change. S2 equals, goes on the AP exam. I don't think they're going to ask you for user input. They may, and maybe we'll do some of that eventually, but I mean, we should know how to do that. But let's keep this one simple. And then, so those are going to be my two strings. I didn't put them in there yet. Let me do that. So S1's going to be the string. Copy that, paste it in. And S2 is going to be the pattern. And then I'm setting up an integer to be the count. But see, we already used count down here, so I like to stay away from that. So I don't like using count. That's why I didn't use count pattern, DNA, or pattern. I use other variables, just so we don't have any conflicts. So here we have int. I'm going to call it num, and it should be capital S1. So the number of counts of, I guess really it should be S2, because how many times is S2 inside of S1? I don't know. It depends on how you want to call it. Okay, so that's going to be equal to this count pattern. So it's equal to whatever I get back when I send the method count pattern, this string and that string. Put a semicolon on the end. And then I can print out something meaningful, like system out print line. How about if I say, and now this is just working out your English. What if I say the string and then a space after before I close my quotes, S2, and then a space here before I put my next word so that the number is not right up against the word, occurs. So the string S2, so it's going to say in this instance the AC. So the string AC occurs plus how many times? Num S2 plus times in the string plus S1. And if I want to get really fancy, I could put a period. And don't forget the semicolon. So now when I run this, it's going to still give me the number 4, but in a nice sentence. Hopefully, if I didn't make a mistake. Let's see. There we go. The string AC occurs 4 times in the string blah 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 with a period. So this is how you use the scratchpad to run your own tests. So this would be a test. We're testing all this information. In the method we already got approved in the unit test. So in the future, when you do these things as a review, make sure you put a test in the scratchpad. Test it out. Make some sort of printout look good, because it's good practice. Don't just assume you know how to do it, because if you don't practice it, you might not do well on the exam. Thank you.